Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So today we're going to talk about a common statement, something I hear a lot, and it's coming up a whole lot right now. And I want to get to the meat of the statement. See, first off, if it's true. And second off, even if it is true, does that mean that it's bad? Okay, so the statement, we've all heard it. There's no difference between Republicans and Democrats. And on many levels, that's true. It is. On many levels, that is a true statement. They're both right on the international spectrum. They're both right. They are both pro-corporate interest, by and large. They're both very likely to engage in militaristic operations. They're likely to intervene in other countries. There's a whole lot of things about them that are the same. But are they really exactly the same? No, of course not. There are policy differences. Notable ones would be immigration, climate change, which is like kind of super important. Tons. There are tons of actual differences in policy. But let's pretend that those don't exist. Let's pretend, for the sake of argument, that there is no difference in policy. It's just the way they frame things. Because that would be the only alternative, is that Democrats put a kindler, gentler face on the exact same policies as their Republican counterparts. I understand that this isn't true, but we're accepting this falsity as fact right now, because I want to demonstrate something. Okay, so it's exactly the same. Take an issue. Let's take those locations all over the world where the United States military has made children afraid of the sky. Let's take that, for example. And let's say the only difference is rhetoric, the way they talk about it. The Republican Party says, hey, it's war. Accidents happen. No big deal. Move on. Better them than me. And the Democratic Party says it's a regrettable consequence of our intervention there. Neither one of these statements are going to save the kid that gets ripped apart 6 days from now. But one of them might save the kid that's going to get ripped apart 6 years from now. Because that statement, it's regrettable. It's something that shouldn't happen. That might change thought. I've talked about it before on this channel. To change society, you don't have to change the law. You have to change thought. If you change thought, laws will change. So that rhetoric alone may be the starting point to get to a better place. And if you're one of the people that says this, that Democrats and Republicans are exactly the same, you're a radical of some sort. You have to be, otherwise you wouldn't be saying that. You would have your chosen political party and you would be backing them. You're radical. You want deep systemic change. You want something better. You're talking about changing the world. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to have long-term strategic thought. And I know, right now there's somebody saying, empty words don't mean anything. Speaking in and of itself, I guess not. But sometimes a calling to speak is a vocation of agony. But we must speak. What law did Martin Luther King write? Speech, rhetoric that is designed to influence thought is probably a lot more valuable than you think when it comes to achieving long-term systemic change. Because that's not accomplished by law. That's accomplished by shifting the way people view the world. So even if you just accept that there is no meaningful difference in policy between Democrats and Republicans, you must acknowledge there's a difference in the rhetoric. And that rhetoric alone may be valuable, is valuable. Because those people who would never say that Democrats and Republicans are the same, they hear that. They hear that children being afraid of the sky is regrettable. They hear that people who cross an imaginary line on a map deserve human rights. These are ideas that need to be reinforced through speech because they aren't givens in this country. So even if it's just rhetoric, it is rhetoric that gets carried across those mainstream networks. It's rhetoric that influences millions. It's rhetoric that eventually can save lives. Even if you accept the idea that they are exactly the same, you know their speech is different. If you are a radical, if you want deep systemic change, if you want to open up those gates and free other people, you have to think long term. Your goal is probably not going to be accomplished in your lifetime. You have to think beyond that. You may just be able to file one notch on that key that's going to open the gate before your time is up. But somebody else can come along and file the next one. If you want that deep change, if you want to build a society where everybody gets a fair shake, where there is liberty and justice for all, regardless of where you live or what you look like, it's not happening overnight. Saying that Democrats and Republicans are exactly the same doesn't help your cause, because it comes across as an excuse to not get involved. That's how it comes across. It doesn't come across as, oh, I have a deep understanding of politics. Because if you did, you would understand that the rhetoric alone is worth something. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.